So in the last video, we had only worked on the sign up and login functionality, and now I will show you what are the next steps. So when I run this new app, I've added some more functionality into it. So let me just start by making account. So I sign up, account created, and then I log in. It says you're logged in, and when Alex logs in, he has this big notes window where he can actually make his to-do list, or he can write journal entries, he can write whatever he wants, right? So this is like one big uh, text holder for him to write whatever he wants to, and then he can save it. Okay, and it says your note has been saved, and if he logs out, it kills the program. It just says you've been logged out. Okay, now when you run the app again with the same username and password, you will see that the note that was saved by Alex is here. So for every user, this app will be able to store the notes. Okay, so we will work on this functionality today. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to just write this down again for you, because while I'm explaining it. So this is the part that I had added new, and I think there was one more part where, yeah, this is the one. So I'll show you why. So what I have done in this code, first of all, I would like you to create one more table just below the users table, first of all, which is only for saving notes. Okay, so this table stores username, password, but this new notes table should store the content of the notes. Okay, so I've created this table saying username, text, primary key, and content, which is the content of the notes, which is text. And then this username is actually the common field between these two tables. So that's why I'm saying foreign key. So the username here is a foreign key which references the users, okay, here. So just to say that these two tables are connected, and the notes will be saved as per the username. So whenever a user logs in, we'll be able to get this information or the content of the notes using this common foreign key. So this part is a new part that you should add. Okay, so this is first thing that you should do. You can pause the video and do this first. And then the second part that I want you to do is here in the login function. So like I showed you in the app, when you log in and it says you are logged in, so it opens a new window, right? So here it is, success, you are logged in. And over here, I want you to call this new function, which of course I will write. I've created this here, but I will add the functionality here. So open notes window, and I want the function to know the u part. U is basically the username. Okay, so it will call the function, and then we will start writing our code in this function. So you add this line, call the function, and then you create a function called def open notes window username, and then now we will start writing and creating the text window and everything else. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to create is a notes window, which you saw the pink screen, because it's different from the login screen. So I'm going to say tk, which is the name of the library, and I say top level. Okay, top level basically means that there was a login window called root. Now I want you to create another notes window on top of it. Okay, so that kind of overlaps the smaller window. Okay, then just like the last time, you can actually give a name, or sorry, the title of this window. You can call it like something like, usernames notes, Alex's notes, or whoever's. So usernames notes. So whoever is the person, their notes are gonna be, okay, wait, u is a small u, so that's, notes, and then I want to give it a particular size too, so that when it opens, it's like some pixels. Pardon me for my typing errors. Geometry. Okay, and then I can say, okay, I want a window to be like 600 times 600 pixels wide and height. Okay, now the first thing that I would like to create is just like a label which welcomes the user. Okay, so I'm going to say label. Okay, where do I want to create it? Inside the notes window, which is my new window that I'm working in. The text that I want on top of the label would something be like, you can actually skip this if you don't want to do it. So you can just say welcome username, so welcome Alex, okay, whoever that person is. And then I can add some spacing to it. So when you say pack and you say pad Y, it's like you're adding some pixels, 10 pixels vertically up and down to, so that everything is not like clogged and not super close to each other. So padding is something that you can add in X and Y, horizontal and vertical, if you want. So that's the label that's been created. Now I want to create a frame, like a frame where the text will be written. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I will create a frame with a variable, and I will say, okay, please create a frame for me. Okay. Where do you create the frame? Inside my notes window, please create that. Okay. Then I will also just add some packing, or sort of basically just some functionality to it. So I can say fill is equals to both, which means when the window is stretched, please sort of expand it or fill it vertically as well as horizontally. Okay. Then I'm gonna say expand is true, so that if I stretch the window from the sides, it can actually just expand it. I can add some 10 pixels X and Y just to add some padding from the window, like from the sides of the window, between the side of the window and the frame, 10 pixels, so that it's not really like right next to each other. Okay. Then so this frame is being created. So what we did first, we created a big window. Inside that we created the frame which will hold the text. Okay. Now the next thing that I want to create is actually a text box. Okay. So this is how it works. This is not something that I'm making it super complicated for you, but this is actually how TK works. You have to have a window and a frame inside it, and then if you want to create some other widgets, they go inside the frame. Okay. Now I'm creating text box. So I'm saying, okay, note underscore text is just the name. It could be anything. Please create a text box for me. Okay, where inside the frame. Okay. You can have something like a wrap functionality, so it will wrap by the word. So like it will go to the next line as soon as the line of text is sort of done. And then you can actually get background color. Like I had pink, I think I had used something. From here you can choose whatever you want, so just copy the hex code here, and then you can add that over here, so whatever background you want. Okay. Then again, I also want to add some padding to it so that it's not really just overlapping the frame. So I want some pixels to be added. So I can say, okay, this, and then I want this to be on the right side. No, sorry, it should be the left side. No, the text boxes should always start with the left. Okay. Then fill is equals to both, which means please fill the entire thing horizontally and vertically, and also make sure that you're expanding it. So expand is true means that if this frame stretches, then the text box should also stretch accordingly. So that's also expand true. Okay. Then the last thing that I would like to add is a scroll bar. So if this is like a lot of text written by the user, I of course want to scroll up and down to see. Okay. So this is my scroll bar functionality. It's just a variable, and there is something called a scroll bar already there in TK. We created inside the frame. Okay. We want it to be vertical, just like it was. Okay. And then I can give it a command. I can say, okay, I want to see the note text, okay, the text in the vertical view. So Y view, Y is this axis. Okay. And then you can also give it some kind of what do you say, the pack or the padding, right? You can say, okay, I want it to be on the right side because the scroll bars are on the right side, and fill is not going to be both this time. I want it to only fill the vertical part of it, so when it stretches, only the Y axis is affected. Okay. So scroll bar is created, but I want to attach the scroll bar to the text window. Otherwise, these two are like created, but they are not like really talking to each other. Okay. So I would say, okay, note text, which is my text window. I want to configure this, okay, with this command. So this is again another functionality, just basically Y scroll command, and then you say scroll bar dot set. Okay. A lot of these functions, if you don't want, you can really just forget about them if you don't want to use scroll bars and all. I'm just teaching you the basic things. Okay. Then this part is done. So we've got the window, notes window, we've got the frame inside it, and inside the frame we've got the text where we will write something, and we've also configured the scroll bar, and we have attached that scroll bar to the text. Okay, now the next thing that I should be writing is actually saving the notes. Okay, because what I want to do is I want to save the notes into the database. So I'll write a function for that. So I will say save note function. Okay, the content of the function is basically whatever is in the note text window. So please get that. Okay, and here it says 1.0, which means the first line and the first character. This is how it's written. Okay, so this, and then I want to read the entire line. So from the very end, like until the line's end, minus one character. So it just basically ensures that you're reading each and every line, like so until the end. And the last one character is basically space. So it's just sort of saying that only the text needs to be considered. Okay, and 1.0 here means like from here, so from the very left and the starting from the first character. That's what 1.0 means. Okay, so you do that, and then cursor dot execute. So when you have read the entire line, you replace into notes, okay, the username and the content. So whenever you update the notes, like if you delete something or whatever, it just basically takes the most recent copy of the notes and replaces it to whatever was stored earlier. That's why I'm using this replace function rather than updating it. So you do that, username, content, values, question marks, and then that would be your username and your content of the notes. Okay, and of course, since I have done something like an update operation, so I'm going to commit my changes. Okay, and I can also just say message box dot show info, just like in my app I showed you, which says saved. Okay, your note has been saved, right? So that's one. Then I also want to write a function for logging out. So what happens when you click on the log out? Okay, so here log out. Okay, I want to just say message box dot show info log out. Okay, and it just says you have been logged out. But what happens when you log out? It basically, you have to take the root window, which is the main window, and destroy it, so everything closes. Okay, so that happens. But these two functions, as you can see, I've only defined them, like I've told them what functionality they are going to achieve, but what really fires them, like we haven't still created the buttons for saving and log out like I showed you. Okay, so now I'm going to create those buttons at the end. So first I defined the functions, and now I'm creating the two buttons that will fire these functions. So button, I want it to be created inside my notes window. Okay, text should say save. Okay, and the command should actually say save underscore note. So when you click on this button, that's when this function is going to do its job. So save note dot pack, I can just add some y, like spacing, pad y, or you can even add x if you want. But here, and then I create another button, which is the log out button. Okay, and what function is it going to fire is the log out function, which is going to do its job. Okay, so we have saved the notes, we have logged out, but how do we make sure that when the same user logs back in, it shows its notes that he had saved? Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to define another function which is for loading the notes. Okay, so it should go into the database, look at Alex's username, and show the notes which were saved. So this is for that. Okay, so it's a simple query. It just says cursor dot execute, select content from notes. Okay, where username is equals to this, and we just match it with the username of the person who's logged in. Okay, we get the data using the fetch one command. Okay, if there is something, which means if there is something saved, I want to take the node text area and insert into it. Okay, now it's basically loading. Everything is in the database, but now to show it visibly, visually, we want to insert that into the node text. Okay, and I want to start inserting from the very left. Okay, so 1.0 is like line 1, character 1 kind of a thing, like from the very beginning, and whatever came out in this row needs to be inserted or shown there. Okay, so all that being done, and then I of course have to call this function somewhere, otherwise nothing is gonna work. So here, just below the buttons, I'm going to call this function as well, which is the load notes button. Okay, so this is automatically going to work, like, and even if the buttons are not pressed, load notes is automatically going to show you as soon as you log in with your correct username and password. It should show you. Okay, so let's try it one more time. I will just delete this database to just make it like a clean slate, and then let me run this. And okay, let's create a new username and password. Sign up, account created, log in with the same account, and it says you are logged in. Okay, so okay, there seems to be something here. Okay, because it did not show me open notes window. Yeah, everything seems okay to me, but perhaps there is something which is missing. I've got the top level geometry label, we've got the frames as well, we've got the text, scroll bar configuration of this, we've got the load notes, save notes, and the logout. We've got these. I think somewhere it is here. This was the main issue that it was having for some reason. Open notes window. Okay, let me run it again and see what's the issue. So logged in. Okay, so it's saying that the color name is wrong. All right, so perhaps the color name is here. All right, so yeah, that's my mistake because I did not add the hash for the color. I guess that was the only thing. So let's see. So log in, and then you're logged in, and it shows you the notes. You can save, okay, and you can log out. Done. And then you can again run this app with the same person and log in, and you will see that your notes were saved. So that's about it.